two public passenger vehicle (PPV) operators are now in custody following the swift spread of a viral video showing the buses engaged in a dangerous act of apparent reckless joyriding in Portmore, St. Catherine. The short clip captured the two buses swerving erratically from side to side before making a U-turn. Compounding the gravity of the incident, a man, believed to be the conductor, was seen hanging outside the door of the first bus, making a quote gun finger gesture at the other vehicle. The conductor of the second bus was also hanging completely outside his vehicle. Crucially, passengers were in both vehicles during the stunt. In response, Dr. McKenzie stated that police are preparing to take decisive action, including stripping the drivers of their licenses. The arrest signaled a serious crackdown on dangerous and irresponsible conduct among public transport operators.
So there was a viral video that shows these two vehicles being involved in a careless and dangerous driving situation in Portmore. We have these two vehicles in custody right now, and we are in the process of administering charges to the drivers, and we have noted some issues with the vehicles wherein the owners are going to be held responsible as well. But the key thing is that the manner of driving and the behavior displayed by drivers and conductors of these buses was very outrageous. In fact, we are very appalled to know that these persons who are supposed to be the guardian of the lives of persons, to include children and elderly, were behaving in the manner that they were actually doing. We have to be responsible. Since the start of 2025, we have lost over 300 persons on our roads because of road traffic crashes, and many more persons have been injured and are suffering. In fact, we have properties that have been damaged, and so our health system as well as our employment system is severely affected. But more importantly, we continue to see driving of this particular manner that are taking the lives of persons needlessly. And in some instances, the persons who are behaving and perpetrating these kinds of bad driving, they are sometimes not the ones who are suffering. Let us be far more responsible. We are intent as a police force to rid the roads of these kinds of practices, and we will do all that is possible legally to ensure that persons who behave in similar manner, that they lose their driver's license, either to suspension or revocation. We will continue to be out there on the roads, and we will continue to use the Jamaica Eye system to detect and prosecute drivers who behave in this manner. We want to thank those responsible persons in the public who see these poor and dangerous behaviors to continue to send the videos and the photographs to indicate to us what is happening. We will continue to do our best to try and ensure that our roadways are safe.
A years-long cloud of suspicion hanging over Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and the multi-million-dollar contracts awarded to Market Me Consulting Limited has finally lifted, but not without a new shadow cast over governance standards. The Integrity Commission (IC) has concluded its 3-year probe, finding no direct evidence of corruption on Dr. Tufton's part regarding the nearly $80 million in contracts secured by the agency, known for the Jamaica Moves initiative. However, the explosive IC report, tabled in Parliament this week, revealed a critical breach of protocol. Neither Dr. Tufton nor Market Me co-managing director Lindsay McDonough formally disclosed their existing friendship. This undisclosed relationship, the report states, gave rise to, at minimum, a quote, perceived conflict of interest when the minister personally introduced the company to ministry officials. While no criminal charges were recommended due to evidentiary gaps, the Commission sharply criticized the failure to adhere to governance best practice and has referred the matter to the Speaker of the House for attention. The message is clear. Even in the absence of a crime, transparency was missing in a massive public spend.
Extramarital affairs.
No, Minister.
Hold on, no, let me answer.
Minister.
Let me respond. First of all, that's none of your business, and I would prefer you stick to questions around the operations of the ministry. And just as I leave you to your private life, I'd like you to allow me mine. Thank you very much.
In the meantime, vile, filthy and scandalous, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton is dismissing innuendos circulating on social media as mere attempts to tarnish his good name. Dr. Tufton says his attorneys are exploring all legal options to prosecute those behind the posts, who he described as cyber criminals. Giovanni Dennis has the details.
The name Tufton has been trending all week on Twitter, but it's not only been about issues under his ministerial portfolio in health. The health minister's name has been entangled in a series of viral social media posts, much of which are deeply personal. Today, he responded with a 157-word statement. He described as vile, filthy and scandalous allegations and innuendos on social media aimed at besmirching and tainting what he described as his good name and reputation. He further charged these disgusting, vicious and false attributions made under the cover of social media have caused great pain and suffering and are clearly aimed at damaging my career as well as causing emotional distress. He revealed that the matter has been reported to the Counter-Terrorism and Organized Crime Division (CTOC) of the police.
Accused of extramarital affairs.
As I said, we live, we aspire, we learn, and we strive to perfection, but rarely gets there.
What was the follow-up from your wife?
Oh Lord, you go too far though, you go too far.
A damning report from the Integrity Commission has cast a shadow over the Ministry of Health and Wellness, raising serious questions about transparency, accountability, and the handling of key government contracts. The report, which investigated incidents that happened between 2016 and 2020, was tabled in Parliament on Tuesday, uncovering procurement irregularities and potential conflict of interest in relation to millions of dollars worth of contracts from the ministry to marketing firm MarketMe. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton and co-managing director of MarketMe, Lindsay McDonough, according to the commission, are believed to be friends and didn't disclose their friendship when the company received the contracts.
The Integrity Commission's report comes nearly 5 years after its probe into alleged conflicts of interest involving the Ministry of Health, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton, and the public relations firm MarketMe. The Director of Investigation found that 15 contracts valued at $78.6 million were awarded to MarketMe during the review period, 14 by the Health Ministry and 1 by the National Family Planning Board using the direct contracting procurement method. The report concludes that the use of direct contracting breached the Ministry of Finance's guidelines, which limit this method to contracts valued below $1.5 million. The Commission also raised concerns about an unsolicited proposal submitted by MarketMe in 2016 for the Jamaica Moves campaign. The report found that the ministry did not conduct due diligence to verify the proposal's merit, nor did it engage in a competitive bidding process.
While it was critical of aspects of the administration of the process directed at the ministry, there is nothing in the report to suggest anything untoward. So from that standpoint, I think it represents vindication. My only regret that it has taken so long, and that along the way a number of persons and entities, including the ministry, would or may have suffered some reputational damage and concern.
The Director of Investigation found no direct evidence that the Health Minister participated in the award of contracts. However, it concluded that his introduction of MarketMe and friendship with its co-managing director Lindsay McDonough created a perceived conflict of interest. The Integrity Commission has recommended that the ministry strengthen procurement planning, avoid the misuse of direct contracting, and cease awarding contracts based on unsolicited proposals without proper vetting. But for Dr. Tufton,
I will accept it for what it has concluded fundamentally. If there are areas to learn from, then we have to learn from it and move forward. But fundamentally, the work was about the work of the Ministry of Health, and that was done with all sincerity to get the maximum and best impact for programs, and in particular the programs around lifestyle diseases.
The Director of Investigations has also referred the matter to the House Speaker. As to what action the House Speaker will take, it's left to be seen how that will unfold.
I'll work with the Speaker. What is important is that it has found no evidence of pursuing the matter beyond having a discussion with the Speaker, and I will yield to the Speaker's judgment and have a conversation with her.
Jeanette Calder, thank you both so much. We appreciate it. And Jeanette, let me start with you. The minister said there was nothing untoward, and he said the report, in fact, represents vindication. There were concerns that were raised by the Director of Investigation, though.
Definitely very serious concerns that I would say just outright, Dion, if I even just quote the report, were violations of the law, and not just law but also policy and financial regulations, the Integrity Commissions Act. For example, both the Integrity Commissions Act and the Public Procurement Act required, in this case, the minister and Lindsay McDonough to have indicated that there was a friendship. This is just the kind of public disclosure that you make, but the simple reason, Dion, that it signals to those who are dealing with the procurement process that if there's additional scrutiny that is necessary, they can apply it. And that wasn't done. That's a breach of law. There's also the issue of the direct contracting, unsolicited proposals. The Public Procurement Act, Dion, is very clear. If you get an unsolicited proposal, meaning that the minister, or the ministry rather, did not actually invite any kind of private entities to provide a service, but they were approached by a business or a company and said, hey, we think this would do the ministry some good, that is allowed under the law. But there's a very clear process and the steps that are in place, Dion, to protect the public's money and to ensure that if we're only dealing with one entity, we still get value for money in the absence of competition. Those were not followed. There are concerns about what we call contract splintering, where we have several contracts on one given day, same date, same kind of services, and the whole idea and the concerns why the Act asks public procurement officials to look out for this kind of thing as a red flag is that there are thresholds, Dion, that if you're over $1.5 million, it moves from just within the department and other persons have to get involved in authorizing it. So sometimes if there is something that I would say malfeasance or corruption, you keep it under the $1.5 million so that there are limited persons scrutinizing and asking questions. So we're talking about several pieces of legislations that were violated. Just to close off on the preliminary comment, Dion, I did see the minister's press release. I did hear about the ministry's release. The ministry says there was no malfeasance. I had to look up the word. It means no wrongdoing. Now, if you are violating laws and regulations and the ministry doesn't see that as a wrongdoing, the public has reason to be concerned. And if the minister doesn't see violations of public procurement laws that safeguard and protect our assets and funds as illegality, then we really have to have a serious conversation with who the minister reports to.
Accused of extramarital affairs.
As I said, we live, we aspire, we learn, and we strive to perfection, but rarely gets there.
What was the follow-up from your wife?
Oh, Lord. You go too far, though.